Good morning, world. I am Judy, your web-based therapist, making therapy accessible and convenient for our clients in Florida and New York, and of course, sharing information worldwide. Today, I want to talk about 5 behaviors to avoid when your relationship is struggling. We know that relationships can be difficult. It's not as much as we would love to have all of our relationships always be happy, fun moments. Sometimes there are relationships do hit a rough patch. Relationships do face some difficult moments, but it is possible even after difficult moments, and many relationships after difficult moments come out and thrive and come out even better than they were before the difficulty. So today I want to talk about 5 behaviors to avoid when your relationship is struggling, because these are things that sometimes people can do that makes it more difficult for your relationship to survive that rough patch, that make it more difficult for your relationship to heal and to, come out on the other side of that difficult moment. But before I get into that, I want to take a quick moment and say, if you are subscribed, thank you so much for being a part of our awesome world. If you're not yet subscribed, please take a moment and click the subscribe button below so that you can join all this awesomeness. And remember to tick the bell so that you are notified when I post new videos so you don't miss anything. And of course, if you'd like to purchase 1 or 3 of my books, there's also a link below that will take you to a site that shows you your different options of where you could get 1 or 3 of my books. Okay, let me get back to it. 1, retaliation or passive aggressive behaviors. Sometimes it seems like it's easy to do where, hey, he did this or she did that, or he started it. No, adult child, this is what you tell your children. It doesn't matter who started it. Fix it. If your goal is to maintain, repair, or continue with your relationship, you can't get into a he started it or she started it, or they did this, so I'm going to do that. If the goal is to maintain the relationship, if the goal is to keep the relationship, if the goal is for your relationship to survive this difficult moment, you can't be in that mindset or in those behaviors of retaliating or being passive aggressive. It doesn't matter who started it unless you are prepared and ready to walk out and end the relationship completely. Then it does not help. It's difficult. It makes the situation worse when you start engaging in retaliation, when you start engaging in passive aggressive behaviors, because those situations can lead to something that you can't come back from, can cause a break that you can't repair. So instead, focus on what you're going to do to help your relationship move past this struggling point. No retaliation, no passive aggressive behaviors. It doesn't matter who started it. You're adults. You're in a relationship. Behave like adults in a relationship, mature adults in a relationship, and fix the issue. 2, bad mouthing each other. That's ugly. That's just not, it doesn't work. If you plan on sticking with your relationship, do you really want to go around telling everyone else all these horrible things about your partner? A lot of times, they're not always necessarily things that the person has done. It's just that you're angry. You're speaking about your partner in an angry state. So when you're in that state, you're not necessarily speaking of your partner, the one you care for, the one you love. You're speaking about this person that you have all sorts of animosity towards. And after you have said all those things about them, after you have shifted your friends and family and other people's views of that partner, now when you repair your relationship, you want to have your friends and family and all those people that you've told how horrible a person this person was. You want them to believe that, oh yeah, they are the sweetest person, my great husband, my great wife, No, don't badmouth people. The things you say about people when you're bad-mouthing them can be very hurtful. It can be very difficult for someone to heal and fix and repair a relationship, to move into a future with someone who have said certain things about them. So be mindful of what you're saying about your partner. Whatever it is that you're going to say to other people, are those words that you would say to them, things that you would say to their face? Are those things that you would say to someone that you care about? Because when you're hurting, when your relationship is struggling, you're in a place of hurt. Are those things that you would say when you're not hurting? Be very mindful of the things you say, how you speak about your partner, because bad mouthing, it's kind of ugly. 3, manipulation or threats. When a relationship is struggling, a lot of times people try to leverage power. In a relationship, it shouldn't be so much about leveraging power. It should be about working together, working as a partnership, working with your partner to heal. It's not about how can you make them do certain things. Manipulation can breed a lot of negative feelings, including things like contempt and even hatred. If you are manipulating your partner, how likely are they to want to continue being in that relationship? Even if your partner was the one that did something wrong and they are now in the process of wanting to make amends, wanting to repair, they're doing their mea culpa. This is not this is not an opportunity to take advantage and say, hey, they're apologizing. Let me capitalize on this. No, do not use manipulation. Do not try to force someone. Do not try to overpower someone into doing certain things that they don't want to do, or maybe that you couldn't do without having this little leverage over them. Manipulation doesn't work. It makes the situation worse, because once you get to that point of, hey, I am asserting my power, I am here and you are there, where does the balance come once the relationship is repaired? And how do you keep your power once they have, done their apologies or when they decide, they're over this manipulation? Don't do that. Don't use manipulation. Don't use threats that just make the situation worse. 4, behaving like the relationship doesn't exist. Unless you have decided, I'm done, I'm over this, I'm walking out, I'm breaking up, we're getting divorced, we're doing whatever, unless you have completely decided and are ready to end the relationship, you can't behave like the relationship is over. People sometimes, because the relationship is struggling, they may do things like, oh, well, he did this, so I can do that. He was seeing her, so I'm going to see him. No. If you are in a relationship that you want to keep, you have to continue behaving in that relationship. You have to continue behaving as though that relationship exists. Like when you start going out and doing things that behaving as though the relationship does not exist, you're very likely to make a misstep or step into a space where you may do something that permanently damages the relationship. One thing I often tell couples is that if you, even when your relationship is struggling, if it was your job to fill your wife's car with gas every Sunday, you're still supposed to do that because that you're still in that relationship. If it was your job to do this for your husband, just because your relationship is struggling does not mean that you don't do it anymore. Because once you start, hey, I'm done, I'm not in that relationship anymore, then you're opening the door, you're widening the gap for the relationship to get worse instead of better. Don't go out doing anything that you know that you would not do when the relationship was well. Don't do anything that could permanently damage a relationship that is struggling, because unless you've made the decision of, I am done, I am walking away, we are ending this, there's still hope, there's still a possibility that you can heal from that point. But certain behaviors make it harder, and sometimes certain behaviors make it even impossible to come back from that. And finally, 5, threats to leave or end the relationship. My rule is, until you're ready to walk into the divorce lawyer's office, until you're ready to pack all your things up and go and leave that home or leave that relationship, don't make that threats. Because what you're doing when you're threatening someone's family, you're threatening someone's relationship, and that creates an insecurity in that relationship. It's harder for me to feel safe in my relationship if at every little turn my partner is going to threaten to leave. Because even if you know this is how they are, there's still that little insecurity that you are breeding in the relationship. There's still that little piece of insecurity that you are creating, making it harder for your partner to feel safe, to feel comfortable being fully in that relationship, because they really don't know at what point when is that threat going to be real? When are you going to make good on that threat to leave? Do not threaten to leave or end the relationship. Don't use it as a manipulation tactic, especially don't use it as a manipulation tactic. Do this or I'm walking away. That's not how relationships work. Relationships are supposed to be a partnership. Do not make threats to leave or end the relationship. Do not threaten to break someone's relationship or family until you are absolutely certain that you are prepared and ready to take that step and walking away from that relationship. Let's do a quick recap. 1, avoid the retaliation or the passive aggressive behaviors because you might do something you can't take back. 2, bad mouthing. No bad mouthing each other. It makes them look bad, but it also makes you look bad because that's your partner. 3, manipulation. And it hurts. 3, manipulations or threats. You can't try to rule or command your partner through manipulation. It creates an imbalance. It creates an insecurity in that relationship. 4, don't behave like your relationship doesn't exist, because when you're doing that, at some point, in addition to hurting your partner, you may do something that you can't take back. You may cross a line that you can't uncross. 5, do not threaten to leave or end the relationship until you're at that very point where you know you are absolutely 100% done with the relationship, going to the divorce lawyer, and you're not interested in fixing and repairing this relationship. Until then, do not breed that insecurity. Do not breed that negativity into the relationship. As always, if you or someone you know happens to be going through something that's more than you can handle, please remember that there are professionals like myself who are available, able, and willing to help, and are even providing remote services who can assist with whatever you may have going on. So please figure out who those people are in your community so that if you need them, you can reach out and get the help that you need. And that is all we have for today. Good morning, world. Have an awesome day.